Hey there, so I definitely recommend that you do a warm-up before this practice. I will be demoing half hero, and please practice half butterfly or full butterfly instead if you do not already do half hero, so protecting your knees. Let us begin in an ugly plank, coming down onto our forearms, pressing the floor away with our forearms, tucking our chin, rounding through low back, and then one vertebra at a time. Bring the front of the spine in towards the back of the spine, rounding like cat, and then lowering back down on the inhalation. This should feel really challenging for your abdominal muscles in a beautiful way, of course. On the exhalation, rounding, can you really tuck that tailbone under? Can you really think of rounding the low back, and particularly the upper back? Challenging. And then lowering back down. One last time. A little technical warm-up. Tucking our chin. So we're thinking of the neck rounding too, but let's ripple that energy up from the low back. Now the hips just lift because we're rounding. We don't actually lift the hips, they lift of their own accord. Really like cat, rounding back down. Hands under shoulders, press back up into a tabletop position. And cat-cowing the spine now. So on the inhalation, concaving, releasing tension, and exhaling, rounding up through the spine. One more time. Inhaling, rippling the energy down like a marble is rolling down your spine, vertebra by vertebra, then up. And exhale, tailbone tucks, rounding up through the spine. Come back to a neutral spine. Extend your right leg back. Draw your ribs to the hips. Reach your left arm forward. And take a few little pulses there. Feeling the squeeze underneath your shoulder blades. Keeping the belly in. Awesome. Change sides. Extend the right leg back. Point or flex your foot. And visualize your ribs drawing towards your hips so we're not overly concaving the back here. Pressing the floor away with our left hand. Awesome. Walk our hands further forward. Press back into our downward facing dog. Have a little wiggle, lifting your armpits away from the floor. So we're feeling that squeeze and activation around our shoulder blades into the upper back. Walking our hands back towards our feet. Let's take a little pause, hips move towards the groins. And allowing the tension to melt away from our back, our neck, our scalp, our jaw. Pressing through the balls of the feet as we bend our knees, stack our vertebra one at a time, come all the way up to a stand. Take your time there. Hands behind the head, belly in, like we're rounding the low back, but lift the top chest. Support your head and particularly your neck here. So is your neck nice and long? It's really the top chest that's lifting. Feeling that beautiful squeeze underneath our shoulder blades as we optionally release one hand. Arm bone in the socket. And then release the other hand still, pressing your hand into your head. Awesome, supporting your neck. From here, hands back behind the head, release the hands, roll back down through the spine, one vertebra at a time, bending the knees. And then take a little warm up for you. I'm going to lift my sit bones up, bend the knees, lift the sit bones up. And I'm going to do that 3 times, bending, and then lifting up through my sit bones on the exhalation. But feel free to do a little warm up for you. What feels good for your back, your hamstrings, what feels like a nice little release for you. Take a moment to release the tension of the head, the neck, the back. Walking our hands back out into our downward facing dog. Having another little moment to fire up those muscles in our back, to lengthen our tailbone back and up. Feeling the squeeze underneath our shoulder blades. To breathe into this. And lowering lowering our knees to the floor. This is both our step 1 option for Tiger Curl, and it's also a warm-up. So everyone, point or flex the foot, extend the leg back. Exhale, Tiger Curl, center Tiger Curl. Keep your toes on the floor and round like you're doing a cat. Tuck your chin in, lift your navel up. Your upper back lifting by an imaginary string as you push the floor away. Inhale, extend your right leg back. Exhale, cross-body Tiger Curl. Again, toes are on the floor, so we relax the hip flexor, but engage our abdominal muscles. Can you feel that in your abdominal muscles? Really rounding. Inhale, extend the leg back, keep the belly squeezing. And exhale, outer body Tiger Curl. So when we press the floor away, our upper back will round like a cat, even more awesome. From here, extend the left leg back. Keep your back from concaving and doing those little pulses again. So you should feel this in the glutes and a nice squeeze underneath your shoulder blades. Other side, little pulses. Feel that nice squeeze underneath your shoulder blades. We're warming up our abdominal muscles still. Let's go back to those beautiful Tiger Curls. Left side, extend the leg back. Center Tiger Curl, toes on the floor. Can you round more through the back? Can you relax your hip flexor more? Ooh, take a little pause. Still trying to breathe, challenging, right? Inhale, extend the leg back, drop that left hip in line with the right. Exhale, cross-body Tiger Curl. Again, what's your hip flexor doing? Is it gripping? Ooh, tucking our chin helps round that upper back. Inhale, extend the leg back. Exhale, really firing up those arms as well as we do our outer body Tiger Curl. That's our step 1 option for this sequence. Beautiful. From here, big toes together, knees wide, cupcake hands. Draw your arm bones back into the sockets and use the muscles underneath your shoulder blades to draw to draw those muscles down towards your buttocks into a V shape. You don't have to have your head on the floor, just make it feel like it's a variation of down dog for the back. You're getting that beautiful squeeze through your muscles. Awesome work, guys. Let's from here unfurl, full or half plank. Can we keep that same rounding now? Ribs still draw towards the hips. 1 to 2 chaturangas. So our belly, our abdominal muscles are really firing up. Make it harder than it is. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, unfurl. By resisting the floor as you come down, press the floor away. 1 to 2 chaturangas. Last time, we're going to take a little pause on the last chaturanga. Inhale. We round like a cat. 1 to 2 chaturangas, elbows in. So they're touching the side body. We take a little pause. Inhale. Maybe a half up dog, maybe a full up dog. So lift your knees if you want. Feel that nice release through your kneecaps. Rock from side to side if it feels good, warming up. Then from your knees or toes, rounding through the spine, downward facing dog. Press that floor away. Use the breath. Walking our hands back towards our feet, bending our knees here, releasing the tension, then driving through the ball of the foot on front to stand. Awesome. Hands behind the head. Round 2, upper body back bend. Draw the belly in. Take a little pause. Those muscles underneath the shoulder blades are drawing down towards your buttocks. Your belly is engaged, like you're doing a cat with the low body, but you're opening the top chest. Contradiction here. And then maybe you release one arm. And then the other.
Keep that belly as tight as a drum. Keep the head nice and supported. Release the hands slowly, rolling back down through the spine. Take a moment here. Feel free to hang out where you are, or hands onto something, thighs on the floor. Inhale, bend, exhale. Lift your sit bones up. Twice more. Just play around with releasing your hamstrings with respect for your back. And then wherever you are, can you release the tension on your exhalation? Maybe down the sides of the legs there's tension. Maybe there's tension in the glutes. And we can stretch the mat apart with our feet. Maybe the neck is holding tension. What can you release here as you allow the body to stretch? Hamstrings stretching up and down by releasing the tension in the calves, the hamstrings, the sides of the legs, the glutes. Awesome. Walking our hands back to a downward facing dog or tabletop. So remembering our step one option, knees to the floor. Otherwise, everyone, thigh to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, center tiger curl. Engaging, that's the name of the game. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Cross body tiger curl. So it's the muscular squeeze that we're looking for. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Outer body tiger curl. Step your right foot beside your right thumb. Lower the back knee. Open that right leg. Have your little beautiful wiggle. Now, where are you at with the breath? Stay there, or step two, hand underneath the armpit, take hold of that back foot. Optional, close the front knee. Everyone target the back thigh to release it. Now here comes our slightly more challenging option. Of course you can sit on a block. I'll show you. For your half hero, your half virasana. Or you can bring your leg into a half butterfly for this whole sequence. Prop your leg, that's all good. But your knee feels nothing. This is not for the knee, as in we're targeting our thigh again. Now, hinging forward first and folding over both legs. So we mightn't go very low, that's fine. Hips move towards the groins. And then, if it feels good, we come all the way into our supine half hero. Take hold of your arms if you want, your elbows. Again, we're targeting that thigh, so use your breath, release the tension in your quadricep. Press through the hands, come all the way up. And find your forward fold again. I'm going to use a block to try and send both of my sit bones back, not just my right sit bone. Lengthen, use the breath. Take a moment here. Maybe you're just doing a standard forward fold, both legs in front. That's fine. You can repeat that. And then stepping back through your flow. Now maybe you lift the right leg. Full or half. Chaturanga, dog. Reversal into your downward facing dog. Use this as a rest between sides. Feel free to take a child's pose. Release the tension from your top chest. Walking our hands back towards our feet, unfurling. Hands behind our head, round through, lift the top chest. I like to focus on my neck most because it's easy to drop the head back. We want our whole neck to be strong, not just certain vertebrae. Swap hands. Release your hands, roll back down through the spine. Hips move towards the groins. Take a moment to play around. Now optional, you can stand on your hands, you can bend your knees, think of lifting the sit bones up, and maybe your legs straighten or maybe they don't. Check in with how your low back feels for that. Your hamstrings will release anyway. Lean into the balls of your feet more. Lift your sit bones up more. Broaden through your hips more. So I know you can't stretch the mat between your feet, but think of stretching your hands between your feet. Where can you release? Walk your hands back out into your downward facing dog. Optional, lower your knees for your tiger curl. Left leg, thigh to the sky. Exhale, center body tiger curl. Inhale, thigh to the sky. Exhale, cross body tiger curl. What's your upper back doing? Check in with all of your vertebrae. They're working, right? Inhale, that will turn your abdominal muscles on. Outer body tiger curl. It's your navel lifting. Step our left foot towards our left thumb. Lower our back knee. And have our little rock and roll here. Where do you feel needs to release? Sometimes it's around people's upper back or around their shoulders after doing something like that. Even though we do want to keep it in our muscles. Maybe you were gripping with your jaw. Step 2, we can bring our hand underneath the armpit, take hold of the foot. Everyone release the back thigh and continue releasing wherever needs to release. Now our half hero variation again. You can sit on a block if you want. Or you can simply sit in your half hero. Or do the whole sequence in half or full Baddha-Konasana. Take a moment to simply hinge at the hips here simply. So sometimes I like to really visualize hips are moving towards my groins. My sit bones, they're like they're on a roller. They're moving backwards towards the back of the mat. Remember, this is really about a forward fold. Everything should feel good here. Warming up for afterwards. And now we have the option to lie back. So lengthen your tailbone away. Sometimes when our thigh is tight, this happens. Our belly pops up. So make sure your low back feels good. Use props if you need to. A block. You can take hold of your elbows. You'll always find that, well, not always, but most people will find one quadricep is much more released than the other. Now, can we use the breath to drain the tension away from the top chest, so to calm our nervous system a bit? Take hold of your mat, squeeze your belly, come all the way out. I'm going to use a block. You don't need to. You could use books or not, depending on where you are in the forward fold. Primarily, this should feel good for our back, and we're practicing hinging at the hips, folding over both legs, even though one is bent. So is your left sit bone moving back? You're hinging at the hips. Activate your left leg if you can. And then step back through your flow. It is an option to lift that left leg up. You can even add a second little chaturanga as you reverse back into your downward facing dog. Lift that upper back away from the floor again. So widen through your upper back. Take a little moment. Now you might be moving on to a cool down. You might simply unfurl to stand and continue with your own practice. But whatever you do, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me.